Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We're going to begin tonight with some breaking news out of Perry County. That's where Highway 15 is shut down after a crash. This is north of Hazzard. Kentucky State Police could not confirm what led up to the crash or if there are any injuries. And this is near the Bonneman area. We do have a crew on the way to the scene, and we will update the story as we learn more over on WYMT.com. Tonight, tens of thousands of eastern Kentuckians are still without power. Right now, nearly 1,000 men and women are trying to repair the damage left behind by hurricane-force winds Sunday night. What was more than 62,000 Kentucky Power customers without electricity is now down to around 28,000. Kentucky Power is in the process of finishing up assessments and will then focus solely on getting the lights back on for everyone else.
We should start seeing the ETRs or FETRs, field estimated time of restoration, coming onto the orders today and tonight so that they'll see them for their specific. And I encourage people to use the app, get downloads from those, texts from those of when it's going to come on, because when our people update it from the field, it'll text those customers and you can go in and create a free account.
As of the 8 o'clock update, the most outages were still in Perry and Pike counties. More than 90% of all customers in Leslie County. Kentucky Power customers are without power. For them and others still in the dark, it's going to be even colder than it was last night. And we also had some snow late today to top it off. Chief Meteorologist Paige Noel joins us now with our first look at the forecast. We've been on a wild ride, Paige.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride just in general, but the weather has definitely not helped it at all. And in case you're wondering, yes, it's April, not feeling like it out there. Though we did have this picture earlier. I don't know if you guys can kind of get your bearings where this is in Hazzard, but to the left is Food City and straight ahead would be Applebee's. You could barely see that earlier today as that snow was falling very quickly, and not a lot of it stuck, especially here in Hazzard, but it fell pretty quickly tonight. Areas along US 118 up in Pine Mountain, of course, higher elevation, seeing it stick on the grass up there. Doesn't look like it's sticking on the road. Starting to get foggy, but definitely could see some slick spots in those higher elevations for sure. But most of us into about the low to mid 30s right now, and we still have that cloud cover out right now, so we're kind of a little bit on the warmer side. But we do have a freeze warning that goes until 10 a.m. on your Wednesday. Clouds are actually going to start to clear out really starting now and throughout the night tonight, which will allow temperatures to drop in the upper 20s for most of us. Some spots could definitely be a little bit cooler, so for those of you who don't have power, definitely thinking about you tonight. Just bundle up and stay warm and cozy, and we will see that sunshine warm up tomorrow. We return tomorrow and hopefully warm us up as well.
All right, Paige, thank you. Without the help of some power tools, many are also having to clean up property damage from Sunday night's windstorm in Leslie County. One man lost his garage and brand new dog kennel, and he's already in a tight spot due to COVID-19. New at 11, WYMT's Emily Bennett tells us the loss of the garage has a deeper meaning.
It just scared me to death.
Winds ripped around Kenneth Purvis's home.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was a tornado.
Feeling like the walls were caving in.
But I felt that whole end of that trailer right there just kind of lift up and then slam back down. That's when I grabbed my dogs and got in the floor.
He sat in darkness.
I've only got like 3 candles down there.
And waited for daylight to see the extent of the damage.
You could see there it damaged my roof, tore my gutter off down there.
His brand new dog kennel was ripped apart.
$254.
And pieces of the garage were scattered around the yard.
Pretty much every bit of that was on top of my dog kennel and on top of my fence there, but we fixed it.
But the loss of the garage hits the hardest.
The memories in that garage too, because me and Daddy used to work on cars in it, and me and Papa, and now it's just all gone.
His dad, Delbert Curly Whitehead, a longtime city employee of Hayden, died in a car crash in October.
This is his property. When he passed away, he left all of it to me.
Trying to keep the attitude Curly taught him since he was 2.
He'd always tell me, look at the good things about it.
Not letting the hard times stop him.
And this is all the stuff that we've cleaned up so far.
From picking up the pieces. In Leslie County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
As we mentioned earlier, Perry County was certainly one of the hardest hit areas in eastern Kentucky. Judge Executive Scott Alexander says 98% of customers in the county were without power after Sunday's storm. As crews continue to bring electricity back, Alexander says they are in constant contact with Kentucky Power for updates.
It's hard to be patient, but be patient. And if we can help or assist, let us know. We're talking to AEP multiple times a day. I think they still have 6 substations down, and they're trying to get all of those back up and online and then get power restored.
Alexander says the water plant is back up and running, and they hope water will also be restored to everyone soon. In Pike County, the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet sent a crew to help one family. A soupy mud came rushing off the hill and onto their property. We're told this is on Chloe Road. Work is still underway to clean up that mess. While many are still without power and trees still litter yards around Whitley County, one family is just thankful they are no longer trapped by those trees. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talked to one woman living on Mountain View Road who had no way out until trees were moved from her driveway this morning.
Mountain View Road is typically quiet. Ethel Smith called this place home since 2003.
How old am I now? 84. 84? I thought it was 74. But anyway, I'm getting there.
For Ethel, nothing means more than family. Since last week, her daughter has even been staying with her.
It's scary when the wind's blowing.
I started hearing a big loud thump, but I thought it was thunder at first.
So when Sunday came, she was not alone when her world was rattled.
Well, we're trying to stay home and stay safe, like the governor said.
Then suddenly, staying safe at home became more difficult.
Well, we can't go out the front door now because of the tree limbs still on the house. The back door we could get out, but the car was in the carport and the trees was behind it, so I couldn't go out. So we were more or less trapped. It's the end of the carport where we walked around to come in. That's showing the tree that's down behind the car and the gutter that was hanging down.
While they know the damage is far from over, they say they know who calmed the storm as it raged all around them.
And thank God for protecting us. Houses can be replaced, but people can't.
In Whitley County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, with no power, it can make eating a little more difficult. Those without electricity flock to fast food restaurants in Hazzard hoping for a fast meal, but were met with long lines. Some said they waited for more than 40 minutes.
We've been using the grill, and we've cooked a couple meals on the grill, but now we're getting kind of tired of that and came out looking for fast food.
One of our producers was stuck in line for around 2 hours this afternoon. But with more people now getting electricity in and around Hazzard, the lines did not look as bad tonight. Outages across the region not only impact people at home, but also schools as they continue to feed their students at home during this coronavirus pandemic. WYMT's Madison Pergram has more on how they are handling the situation.
Power and water outages impacting how kids get fed.
Some of our schools only got power back today, and some of them still do not have power. So it's just been a very stressful situation trying to figure out, can we serve meals?
Circumstances preventing some school districts from preparing meals for their students.
We do Monday, Wednesday, Friday deliveries, so Monday and Tuesday these kids have gone unfed.
Karen Sandlin, Food Service Director for Knott County Schools, says there is also concerns with food supply.
We're taking the temperature, seeing what can stay, what can go, and we'll probably have to reorder some more food, so we're hoping we have enough to make it to the next delivery.
Also looking to see if they have enough workers, as many of them also impacted by the outages.
I've had several phone calls, emails, and texts today wanting to know if we're going to do tomorrow, and we have no idea yet because we're still trying to see what's out there, what's available, who's available, things like that.
Throughout the uncertainty, one thing remains.
We care about our kids and we want to make sure they're fed during this crisis.
Focused on their mission of caring and serving their students, not only in but out of the classroom. In Knott County, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
When the lights do come back on, you need to take a close look at the food in your refrigerator and freezer. The Food and Drug Administration says a full freezer will keep food frozen for about 48 hours. If the freezer is half full, that will stay frozen for about 24 hours. Once power returns, you should check the temperature of your food. If it is still 40 degrees or below, it is safe to be refrozen. Anything above 40 degrees should be thrown out, as it still could make you sick, even if it is fully cooked. With the electricity out in many homes across the region, some people are beginning to lose their cool, unsure if the medications that they refrigerate will still be safe as they wait for their power to be restored. WYMT's Buddy Forbes spoke to a pharmacist in Pike County who says there may be a longer grace period than they realize.
The power may be out, but that does not mean your medication is in danger.
Most, if not all, insulins nowadays, they can be kept out of the refrigerator for up to 4 weeks.
Pikeville pharmacist Wes Rose says many of those usually refrigerated medications will still be okay, even if they cannot be refrigerated for a few weeks. But if that makes you uneasy, there are a few steps you can take.
If you have like any insulated bags, or if you have like even like an old lunchbox or something like that, that's any such insulated, if you can put your insulin or whatever medication needs to be kept refrigerated inside of that, with like maybe an ice pack or something of that sort.
Just be careful not to take that too far.
And separate it out, either it's maybe wrapped in a paper towel or something. You don't want it to come in contact with the ice, as direct contact could freeze it a little bit easier.
Which is not good for the medicine.
You do not want to freeze these medications. I know some people still may have freezers or whatnot. You don't want to get them anywhere below that. Essentially what it does is the medication essentially gets thicker and clumps up, and when it dethaws, it's less effective.
He says if medicine does accidentally freeze, it will still be safe, but will likely have less of an impact.
I would just contact your provider and check your blood sugar a little bit more often than you usually do, just to make sure you're still in the range that you need to be in.
And he says not all medications follow these guidelines, so make sure to do your research.
There are some exceptions, so just always call your pharmacist, call your provider, check with them just to double check.
Even if it requires an extra phone call. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Rose says not to take any risks with these medications and to make sure the 4-week period applies to your prescription. The coronavirus has now claimed victims in all 50 states. Coming up at 11, how the virus could continue affecting the world's economy.
And sunshine returns tomorrow, but how long will it stick around? I'll have that answer coming up.